and show you today how you could have used that strategy. And I'll go over the strategy here as well a bit. With gold today, some nice movement to kick off Monday. Monday, strong candle today. Really coming for those highs there, today's candlestick with gold. These highs here, really coming for those highs we can see. Getting above there on the daily. If we're looking at the daily right now, daily has a pretty strong candle to start off the week. Like, we're getting like this bearish movement down, but today has taken out a good range. Taking out these highs, this high here, this resistance here. See today's candle looking strong. Time is 11 a.m. So 6 hours till the day finishes. Looking like we're gonna finish a stronger day. We got 6 hours left in the day. Probably gonna maybe we finish like a bullish day. That could be interesting for tomorrow. If we finish relatively strong today, we're above this. We broke out of this high here. You can see if we finish strong, if we close bullish today, then it's like, okay, we broke above that high. There could be some good pullbacks, but then maybe staying above that high tomorrow, the next day. Especially if this finishes stronger, we get like a wick down, we get like a pullback tomorrow, continuations, maybe. The daily's looking nice. But yep, some good movement today on gold. And using the quarters, so like if we look at just today, there was 2 setups today. You could have looked at really, like one here at 4,075. So that's a quarter level for those who might be new to trading gold. One of the things that we use is price. Inside my Discord, there's a section called blueprints. Like if you actually go to because I wrote these a while ago and I just left them there. There it is. We talk about whole numbers and why they matter with gold. We have some blueprints inside the Discord and lots of sessions, lots of videos where I talk about it. But some of the common whole numbers to watch on gold are round price levels ending in 0, 25, 50, and 75. So 0, 25, 50, 75. So 75 right here. You look at gold this morning. Right now we're at $4,090. Not that far away from 4,100. So if you look at earlier this morning, a couple hours ago, price broke above 4,075. Right here, even like here's where it's really breaking. It's above 4,075. And this is similar to one of the setups on Friday I was talking about, last Friday. Some of you guys might have seen the last live stream that I did. Yo, smash the like button, smash that like button, smash that like button, fam. This is actually similar to the Friday setup, if anybody remembers the Friday setup that I was talking about. New York session last week. Over here, I'll go over that in a little bit, but I mean, gold, you can see, was already making some bullish movement up to this point. So market, I like to call it like a market flow, like it's pushing up, making higher highs. Gold's really good for these types of setups that still like hold a structure, that are continuing up higher, breaking out with momentum. Now 4,075, you could see, like, in simple terms, it's like a break and retest, like at that level. I like gold because when there's demand, when it breaks out, it usually means there's demand. So like it usually sticks with that. It usually can like stick with those breakouts and market structure. So you're essentially, most of the times, you're waiting a lot of times for retracements once you've kind of found its direction. Because pretty much since early London session, this was going up. It's going up all morning since like early last night, pre-London session, as we call it. And yeah, this hits 4,075 and gives a nice move up. Now, one of the strategies I was talking about on these two sessions, that was Friday night. Like, these were good sessions. Make sure you watch them if you haven't yet. Was how I like to use like a $5 area. So when I found like a, let's call it a area of interest, a point of interest, a price, like a zone, I like to make myself an area, around that price, usually below it or above it, depending on the direction. This is what I went over the last two sessions that I did inside the inner circle. So those of you guys who were on those sessions, like, this is what we've been talking about a lot, because you can identify the price. It's easy to identify the price. But I was talking about how I like to give myself that $5 below, or even sometimes $10 below. So like 4,070 is $5 below. This is what we were talking about right here, with gold's movements. We went over this with some of the trades that I even sent last week and some ideas. Like, I was talking about 4,025. And that was an example where I was like talking about using a $5 zone. What was the most recent one? Like here. Oh yeah, here. Like, see this trade I took on gold? See my area is 4,060, 4,055. I had 4,050 marked, but I was like, okay, the market might come there, it might not. If it does, like, it probably was gonna make the same move. So I was thinking like a $10 area, which is pretty big. But yo, this trade, like, it reacted right away. I entered in this area, and I'll explain why in a bit, because that was from last week, but it's similar to what happened to today, similar to today here on gold. So gold, I like to give myself that kind of room for error, like room for maybe some drawdown, room for the zone, like a zone that it could work. This is a good example why here today, because obviously, like, let's say you're taking a buy at 4,075, and you have a stop loss, maybe 50 pips or something like that, or maybe you just have your full position there. You have your full position, a full position at 4,075. You could go in a drawdown, right? But that drawdown is usually like what I look at as like an area that I'm entering in. I try to use an area to enter in instead of look at like, oh, it's a bad drawdown. And like in this case, most of the time you might be putting a stop loss here, maybe 50 pips, 60, 70 pips. I would say, $10 is like a good breathing room for gold right now. at least there's a lot of volatility. Like a good stop loss would be like behind you, right here. I was able to I woke up late, extremely late today, but I was able to enter this move. I didn't stay up for lunch. I was watching gold down here because there was another trade down here, even around 4,050, 4,045. I'm gonna show another example, but just using the quarters. Like the basis of this is using quarter, like the quarter level. Remember I said at the beginning, zeros, 25s, 50s, 75s. This is 75 level. Now, when you're looking at other things, you can combine some other things like, okay, there is a previous structure here to the left, and something that we could say is resistance, right? So we could say some other things about this market, but we can use the quarters like a really good guideline, a really good key level. That if you're patient enough, I'm telling you, if you're patient enough, you let the market come to them. Even there were some sells here. There were some sells at 4,075 in London session, 5 in the morning. There was like a reaction there for sell. The market made a wick up and then came down, but it just gradually went up, bro. Came back to 75. So there is other things you can kind of contribute in here and look at. You know, there's like a resistance there, right? Whatever time frames we're looking at, I could look at any time. I could go to the 1 hour and be like, okay, there's some resistance there. The 1 hour breaks above. You know, when we're looking at the 30-minute, we can obviously see that resistance level area that the market broke above. These are the types of setups that happen on gold. Now, when you're using these levels, it's good to give yourself that kind of that zone. It's good to have that kind of area above or below. It could be above or below. What I mean is, if we go over like here, I'll show like if we go over here to the left and we look at 4,075. And you go $5 above it, you get 4,080. Okay, you get 4,080. Now you can see, like this is a really good example here where between 4,075 and 4,080, you know, you could see what the candlesticks were doing. There was wick rejection. You have a shooting star here. Basically like pin bars, the opposite of hammers. You have 4,075 there. $5 above is 4,080. You can see the market holds nicely in that zone. You get a push up, right? You get this push up, but then it comes back down again. It pushes up, but comes back down. It ends up closing bearish at 4,075. Some wicks up, some wicks up. That's good type of behavior to see, but you can even see like how even some previous examples moving forward. That hits 4,080 again, but over here where we're at right now, even this 4,075, it goes to like 77, 78. And then drops. So like the market's pushing up, so I'm like thinking, okay, $5 below, right? If you go down, here's 4,050. If you look at gold in Tokyo session last night, it pretty much, it looks like it made the same pattern that it made on Friday here. Pretty much, I think Friday was similar to that movement. Yeah, this is Friday down here. Big reversal on Friday, going into London session. on Friday. I caught the bottom there, and honestly, I got out I got out on this, like, it made a good push, so it was could have been a crazy trade. There was a big reversal Friday. That kind of happened today too. Like, there was a big, like, reversal down here. Now, if you look at 4,050, that held pretty nice last night. So, I mean, if you're looking at the market when it opened, it came down to 4,050. And this is like, these prices are good guidelines. They're not just going to instantly react all the time. They're good guidelines because, like, if we go 4,050, that's the bottom here. 4,045. The market did go a bit below that. Because you could see it's between almost to 4,040, right? You can start to see between like 4,050, 4,045, a bit below, price starts chopping. The first, like, sign of rejection is like here on this candle, and then the market makes a big move up, comes back down, and rejects again. So, I mean, like, entering between like 4,050 and 4,045 isn't like a bad trade. Entering between there, it's like, it gives you room to be like, okay, I could put my stop loss near the previous lows. Like, I could put my stop loss behind me near the previous lows. If I'm getting, especially if I'm getting like an entry or averaging like entries inside of there, I'm able to put my stop loss in a structural place that's clear. Be like, this morning, it'd be like taking a trade with 4,075, like getting an entry between 4,075 and 4,070 is a much better entry area. And again, it like positions me to put my stop loss again behind me. I can place my stop loss structurally behind me. The quarters work really, really well. That's like today, just by the quarters, they're, down here, there was a reversal at 4,050. Market shifted up, made a high, came back, bounced into the low. That's happening around 4,050 level. And that's like the thing about gold I talk about a lot. It's super, like, really versatile with its movement. Like, that's happening in Tokyo session, pre-London session. Hours later, during New York session, there's like another setup. So with gold, if you really stay patient and you let it move, you give it some time, like, but if you're able to maybe peek on it, watch it at different times in the day, you may be able to spot more than one setup in a day on gold. Or reaction. Even just using quarter levels, like just what we're talking about. Again, we've been talking about every $25 specifically. There's been some good movement with it today to pretty much like start the week off. Like, it's pretty much starting the week off really strong. But that's like, that 75 is a classic setup with gold. Like, it's already trending. It's already pushing up, market structure, break and retest, creating a higher high, pulls back to 4,075. Even at 4,075, like, you could have gave yourself $10. And $10 might seem like a big distance, but, gold can move way more than that. That's why I like to put like multiple entries on a trade, because I can get maybe an entry at 75, maybe an entry at 72, 74, and catch some bigger movements on some of them. in terms of like the stop loss too, because if I'm getting, let's say I'm getting two different entries, I'm getting one at 75 and I'm putting my stop loss for here, and let's say I'm getting an entry at 72 and I'm putting my stop loss at the same spot, you know, two different risks to rewards there, right? Maybe so I like to twin trade. I like to do what's called like twin trading, where I'll stack more than one entry in an area. Because like if one entry, for instance, like, and the stop loss could be in the same exact spot. The stop loss could be in the same exact like location for both trades. Like the stop loss should be where you think the stop loss should be one. And like in terms of invalidation, like a place where the market's like likely not to go. So like I'll give myself some breathing room. Like this would be pretty far for most traders, like these lows, because like it is again $10, maybe even a little bit more if you're going at the low. If I'm looking at stop loss, if I'm getting like a different entry, like if I get an entry at 70 and I have the same stop loss, it's a much different risk to reward potentially. So like the stop loss could same spot for every trade. 2 to 1 over 3, and then this would be almost 5. So I'll have maybe a 0.1 on one entry, let's say, just for an example. This is a 0.1 entry, 0.1 lot. And this is also a 0.1 lot. And this is also a 0.1 lot. Whoops. Instead of a 0.3 at one price. Instead of, let's just say, a 0.3 right here. I'll break the trade down because I understand gold. I do this because I understand gold's movements. Like, I've taken a lot of trades on gold, and I've had a lot of time in those trades and watched what the market's done while I'm in trades, and realizes with like the types of trades I take, it gives me this ability to do this. Especially when you start to see the zones and the areas. So I'll break a trade down. I'll be using the same stop loss. So this would be, if I had a 0.1 here, it'd be risking $100 on that trade. This one would be $70 essentially. And this one would be $50. But it'd be spread out in different entries, maybe even taken at different times in that area. I just went over this though. If you're in the inner circle, I just went over this 2 nights ago. If you go to live sessions here, if you didn't see those videos, watch them. If you watch them once, watch them twice too. I think those are 2 sessions you could even watch more than once. We just went over zones, talking about zones and areas in those sessions. $4,050 held, and yep, exactly. Someone said, yeah, some of you guys already said in the chat. I noticed. You're right. Yep, you noticed. It held to start the week. Interesting enough, like 4,000, yeah, 4,050 held to start the week. 4,100. Like now, it's like okay, we're above 75. We're having a strong daily, even stronger than when I first was saying that. Remember when we started? Daily's even stronger now. No. 4 days trading view. Yeah, daily candle strong. we're coming to 4,100. Question is, we'll probably get some like resistance there. You'd want to you're not looking to buy now. You'd want like a pullback to 4,075 at least, maybe on a higher time frame, or a break above 4,100. There's been resistance all last week at 4,100 actually. Like, yeah, we've rejected 4,100 a lot in the last week on gold, a good amount of times. Like up here, there was a breakdown and it pulled back. But 4,100, that area, even if you go 4,100, 4,105, you can see. That's what I mean, like above or below like a key level, like 4,100, that's a psychological level. You know, it's zeros, that's $4,100. It's like 4,200, 4,300, $4,000 with the zeros. Remember, zeros, 25s, 50s, 75s. Remember that's what we were talking about at the beginning. Zeros, 50s, 75s, 25s. All right. Trust me, you study these levels every week, every month, you'll learn a lot with gold. You'll learn a lot with gold. If you look at $4,100, for example here, $5 above gives you 4,105. So look at last week. We're on the 30-minute right now, and you can see how like gold has this breakdown and it pulls back to 4,100 and it hits that area. Again, there's a support here. Makes a low. Breaks out of this low. We get a pull back to that area. 4,100. Market shoots up to 4,105. At the most, it's 4,110. So just by giving yourself that extra $5 is like an area. Because like it went to 4,110. And that's not that bad. Like if you were selling at 4,105, instead of just, okay, thinking 4,100 could hold, not expecting like there could be a $5 move against me at least. Like kind of like having that expectancy of, okay, price could go below my area, maybe even $5 to $10 before coming back to it or giving some closure. Because you could have, like, let's say you have, for example, like you have a price, like I'll draw it out real quick. Let's make this a bit bigger. You could have like, this could be, you know, $4,000 for gold, XAU. And, you know, below would be, let's say here's going to be 3,990, right? Like the market could come down to that price, react off of it, have some sharp moves, but go into like a zone, an area, and even come back at a later time and still close above the 4,000, right? Like candles could go down, but then come back up and trade below this, but eventually close back above the zone. And we see like $4,100 kind of does that here, right? Where, okay, you have 4,100, 4,105. The most this goes to is 4,110, right? So like most traders get this wrong because they don't expect like, okay, it could go to 4,110 and still come back down and make a bearish move. Like they don't understand closure, rejection, patience, timing, like letting price even maybe give price some time around these levels. We talked about this example on the last session we did over here, where it comes to 75 but makes a big wick down. Giving yourself that little room could put you in a better spot, or maybe even just like help you avoid entering early sometimes. Last night's a good example with literally 4,050. Because like if you were watching it in the moment, it might have looked like, oh man, it's breaking below 4,050, you know? If you're watching it in the moment down there, it might have looked like, oh damn, it's breaking 4,050. It went to 4,040 at the most, you can see here, right? Like last night, for example, it makes a nice reversal here. So if you're watching it in the moment, and you know it's coming to that price, it can react quick. Like there's quick reactions, but price does go down. Like I think when it first hit 4,050, there was a reaction, but it went down, and then it came back up, but then it went down, and then it came up, and then it went down. So it didn't hold 4,050. Well, like it went through it, right? It hit 45, came to 40, reclaimed the level, right? It reclaimed the level here. It ends up breaking up, making this high, coming back. So it's in that area. It's holding an area, like a $10 area here between 4,050, 4,040, 4,045. So it's good to gauge. Like you could still be considering the price. Like it could still reclaim the price if certain price actions happening around it. It's good to try to gauge even below and think, okay, I got my 4,050. Let's see where $10 below is, $5 below. That could be like my maximum zone where I could try to see if this holds in, because this is how price behaves a lot. This happened with last week. Here's 4,025 down here. Now it actually respected 4,025 pretty quickly. Like a good area last week to be thinking would have been here when it came to 25, between 20, 30. It's pretty much like here, what I just showed you with today's example. 4,050, even just $5 below is like, okay, not a perfect zone, but you can see how eventually we just hold it. Trust me, I've caught enough, seen enough setups like this. Again, gold literally showed 2 today, just using quarters. So study the quarter levels. I have a lot of YouTube videos. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you guys check out all the YouTube videos as well. Smash that like button, fam. Smash that like button. I took both. I had my first entry at 4,060. I closed at 83. At New York, entered 72. Nice. This is exactly what I did today. These are some inner circle students preaching right now. That's exactly what I did today. I was buying on resistance above. Gave the price room. London bearish, New York bullish for tomorrow. Yeah, today's strong. At this point, 4,100 is going to be a key level to watch, I think, because it's Monday now. We're going to be heading into the afternoon soon. And we seen last week 4,100 reject a good amount of times, like three times last week, pretty much. Or a couple times even to the left, but like you can see here, it rejected around it, and then it broke above it, retested it, broke below. There's a lot of action around $4,100, and we're approaching it quickly to start the week off here with gold. We do have a break here, trendline break. We're even getting one right now from the top, and we could probably even bring one from top down here as well. Yeah, so we are getting like some shifting, some liquidity, like grab signs. Like this is a good liquidity break on that trend line. Here we have a good liquidity break happening on this trend line as well. I don't know if you guys, there's 2 of them you can see there. And when we look at like this low here, the move up created a high that broke, like it broke all this. Like it made a good structure move up, and at the same time now we have like this low holding. So it'd be interesting to see how this moves forward with that $4,100 level. There could be some rejection at it, and that takes us back down to 75 maybe for a retest. If price is strong to start off Monday. It's Monday and we're getting some really strong movement to start off Monday. If we break above 4100, that's interesting. If we just keep going up above 4100, that's going to be interesting to see if something like this happens. If a new high is created and price just keeps flowing up, and we create a new high above 4100, we take out that resistance. That would be something interesting to see. So far, yeah, like we're approaching 4100 has a lot of resistance there, so it's definitely gonna be a key level to watch. Maybe the next day or two, you might be able to break above it. If not, you'll probably get just like some rejection around it back to 75. If you don't break above, only reason I think it could try to break above is because Monday's starting pretty strong. So Monday looking pretty strong here to start the week. When you look at the daily on gold, look at the candle. Today's candle, nice, green, strong. Yeah, that daily, like tomorrow could potentially try to pull back to like 4,080, 4,075. Possibly a pullback or continuation, just because like reading price how it's like starting the week. It's Monday and we're getting like a strong push up, strong candle on the daily, so like that is taking out this. See it on the line chart. Like today's candle just running through that. So maybe there's a pullback for tomorrow's candle, like a wick back to that area for a bounce on tomorrow's candle. Right, which could be like rejection, you know, if it sells, then maybe some rejection around 4,100. But if this keeps up, if price just breaks up tonight, if it just kind of keeps up and we make a new high above like if there's a clear like break above 4,100, then could be thinking, okay, this might just want to continue up a bit more. So yeah, 4,100 really close. It's 11:30. What did we just say? We just said like 95. Like even right now, like it's 4,100. This is like one of those prices where it's like above or below. Like you can look at it different ways. Like right now, $5 below is 95. So like if you look to the left, like 95 kind of holds in some instances. There's this 4,100 area. So I like to, when I look at these prices, I like to kind of think like, okay, above and below in some cases, like depending on which direction price is pushing to. In some cases you could do that, like you'll train, like the more you study this, you'll train your eyes to know when and how to do it. Like if you like scalping, it's good to think like that. If you're like looking for quicker entries at times, so like here you could see 95, 4,100 area, 4,095, 4,100. Market goes to 4,105, spikes up to 4,105. Here spikes up to 4,105. So like, yeah, you're either gonna get rejection here. I feel like price right now, like, well, not feel like, but yeah, like can feel like, but look at price. It is starting the week off like strong bullish, so that might be a little bit of a tempo for like the next day or two, maybe for gold. The 4-hour moving average. So yeah, a couple scenarios potentially. If you're looking for buys, sells would be potentially if you get like rejection around 4,100. I think that pullback could happen. If that pullback happens, I'm looking for a buy. Maybe I'm not looking for sells. I want to go with kind of like the flow of how this Monday's starting. Like I said, this Monday is starting pretty bullish, and even more as we watch it continuing. So we're probably going to finish, like I said when I got on, we're probably going to finish the day stronger from the looks of it. That could kind of give us an idea of like how tomorrow's candle could, you know, potentially even trade. It's like, what if we get, maybe we get like a wick down on, like we close bullish today. Tomorrow's candle maybe creates like a wick, bottom wick, continuation, like this type of candle. Maybe we get more of a continuation, like today's candle. We come down, we start bearish, but we get like a pullback, like a wick formation. That could be a possibility. Tonight, I'll be live inside the inner circle tonight, yo. So tonight I'll be live at 8:30 p.m. Maybe a bit earlier than that, actually. I think I'm going to start the session earlier tonight. But I'm going to be, yeah, I'll be back on in the inner circle tonight. Maybe even when the market opens like 6:30, 7 p.m. might be a better time to jump on, see where things are at. Probably going to do like 2 sessions tonight. But yeah, we're going to be on later to look at the market, see where things are at. Today, starting off strong. I think tomorrow we'll have continuation. I think tomorrow's candle is continuation at some point. That could be like continuation in Tokyo session. If Tokyo, or I would say the continuation is more likely to happen in like pre-London session. London. Or New York sessions. So for tomorrow's candle. Tomorrow's candle's probably, you know, if we look at the daily, I'll show you why I say that too. For example, 1 minute. So if you look at this daily candle, next day continued up, created a crazy wick. And then you got this bearish candle. Next day continued down. So we just got this strong daily bullish candle. So probably gonna see like some attempt of like continuation with tomorrow's candle. All right. That's what I'm feeling like, thinking like just from this move. It made a bottom, like we have some bottom wicks down here as well. Some strong bottom wicks down there. We broke out of here. That area again we could see. So potentially continuations. Potentially. Again, like I said, maybe we get back to that 4,075 or 4,080. You know, we could be thinking 4,080. That would be like $5 above. We'll see. That's kind of just like the thinking forward. Like just kind of, I like to say forward thinking, having the idea kind of in mind. So when we got on tonight, kind of already have an idea in mind, or when we get on later. We'll see. Doesn't look bad, but daily strong. Potentially pullbacks for tomorrow. I wouldn't try to buy like up here aggressively. The market's pretty much made some movement for the day. Like if you're holding buys, like it could keep going higher if you're holding buys. Like it could try, like I said, could try to break above 4,100 if this market is just strong. Well, we'll see. Maybe we got to break above, but pull back to like 75 would be like the daily level if it pulls back to 75. Or you got to break above, like a strong break and close above here, maybe for some continuation. We're going to wrap it up here for this morning. I'm going to be on tonight in the inner circle. But yeah, that should show you like two setups. Like there's two potential setups today with gold, just using the quarters. One of them was like one of my favorite, literally. Break and retest inside of a trend. So this shows you too, you don't have to catch the bottom of the trend. And I've talked about this in my YouTube videos. I've talked about this inside the inner circle plenty of times. Go with the flow. We've talked about like going with the flow. Even now, this might be rejecting. Like this is where like you want to watch like the candlestick behaviors. Like how's the 1 hour? How's the 30-minute? This is where the market could start to form like rejection candlesticks when it's like high up like this. This shows you like there can be a London trend and even like New York trend. London trend is pretty cool. If you get used to seeing like a London trend, you'll see like these mini trends inside of them at times. There can be like a London trend with gold. This shows you don't have to catch like the very bottom of something. For example, like you might have felt like you missed the buys at 4,050. For example, 4,050 had like a reversal like we talked about between that and 4,045. You might have felt like, damn, like, you know, for example, this started pushing up a good amount all the way to 4,000. Literally 4,075 is where it pretty much like had its biggest stop. So like at that point, you know, if you're not catching this, you might have felt like you missed the movement, missed out. But there can be like these are the perfect setups, the ones that are like inside of the trend. Like these setups, the ones that happen after a significant amount of movement has occurred. These types of setups are great. There's already a trend behind you. So at this point, it should be easier to identify like there's a trend here. Because it might not be as easy to identify like 5-minute trends, you know, and here there's a trend. Like if you look at the bigger waves, or like it starts here. If you look at the bigger waves, it's probably easier to identify like at this point you're trending, you have some good market momentum behind you, good demand forming in the trend. So these are the types of setups I really, really like that are inside of the trend. And that also shows you that you can obviously miss some movement. Oh yeah, we're gonna be on tonight, yo. Inner circle. If you're in the inner circle, we're gonna be on tonight. We're gonna be on tomorrow morning, tomorrow night. We're gonna be on this week. Throughout the week, and keep an eye on price and look for setups like this. Keep an eye on them quarters. We're gonna keep an eye on them quarter levels. Anyone who was up last night, like I say, late, like pre-London, late Tokyo, there can be movement. There can be volume to come in, entries to catch. London session pushed up. New York session pushed up. So like the tempo, like I don't know, the week, feeling like there might be, maybe this is like the tempo to start the week. So that's why I think like tomorrow maybe has some continuation attempt in it. I'm gonna wrap it up here though. Yeah, we're gonna be done for the day here. We've been on for about an hour now. Hope you guys got some value on this session. Smash the like button if you did. Hope you guys learned something today. Where that boy Skids at? Is there a masterclass part 1 and 2? If you go, not necessarily a masterclass, it's a live session I did in my inner circle. These were just training sessions where I just kind of broke down the sauce. It's one of those training sessions. It's one of those training sessions it's one of the ones you need to watch. We do a lot of repetitive talk about the same things. So this is one of those ones where it's like good to watch, worth watching. Some days are boring and there's not much. Some days there's like nothing going on. It's like, all right. All right, now Bitcoin crypto market, obviously crashing. We know that. We're getting a big drop. Like we're at a major zone right now. That's between like 75,000 and hitting $80,000. Like all in here. Basically the last low. And yes, that was 75,000. The lowest Bitcoin got there. The last low before that is around 50,000. Well, like yeah, 45,000 or 55,000. So right now, like crypto's in a spot where it needs to recover, have some relief, like it should. We have like a strong area that we're in. We should get some relief back to like 94,000, I think. And then from there, it's really seeing if the market is trying to keep going stronger up. So from there, it could probably make like a move back down to retest here, or even maybe come back lower inside the lower, make like a lower low. Like it looks like Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin, speaking for Bitcoin, could have some recovery here. We have basically like a situation like this going on right now where the market should make a first strong recovery. Like we've had like a big drop. So should get a recovery, like something like this or this, one of these types of moves after what we just had. Probably something like this. Like we're underneath. Like right now, we're underneath the moving averages. Oh, where'd my chart go? No. Like right now, we're underneath the moving averages. So on the weekly, that hasn't happened since way over here. Being under both of them, we're underneath both of them. Like, I mean, we did cross under here once, here a bit, but like we've had like a full crossover. Last time that happened was in like 2022. So the market's dropped enough already to make like a recovery, like a pullback. Now that pullback could go into a stronger move down. Potentially, like if you look at what happened in 2022, this dumped and then there was a big pullback and then it made a move down. Like we have had that first move down. What we do have, we have like again, the market was in a similar state there, like where it was testing. So it's probably going to go for that pullback. And now when it does that, that's crucial. Like if that pullback launches us, amazing. It might not though. It might just take us down into a new low. could try to take us down into like a new low in price. That would be like the worst case scenario. Worst, like once that happened, market stalled, recovered after a while, after some time, after it went through that phase. So I think like first it's like we're gonna support this area. I think we're gonna support this area firstly, and we're gonna get a good recovery back, maybe like 93, 94. But from there, it's really seeing how the fundamentals are playing out, how the liquidity is going, because it could try to flush right back down to the low. We'll probably get a bounce. I think the the best or safest crypto, like Bitcoin, Ethereum. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, like the only cryptos I'd be interested in stacking right now are those, because alts are so low. But it's like these are still where the value is at. I think, and even the charts still show them. Ethereum depends. Like we could if we look at Ethereum right now, like it's going through a bear market like this, like we had here. We dropped 66%. So Ethereum from the high went down 47%. Basically Ethereum is above 2,000 still. So let's mark $2,000. I mean, that's where the last low came in, was like 1,500, 2,000, between 1,500 and 2,000. Right. And price went down for, how long did price go down here for? It went down for like 126 days. We're down for quite a bit from the high. Price has been dropping now for 91 days, 98 days. So this thing could still keep dropping. What's the lowest we go in that span of time? Maybe 2,000 at the worst, depending on what the market does. 2,400, 2,600. If you look at Ethereum, it's pretty much replicating what it did already over here. So Ethereum is basically like right here right now. It just came off of a major flush out. So we're gonna get like a recovery from the looks of it, but then probably flush out again into new lows. Like if you look at what happened last, like it's pretty much replicating this to the left. When you look at this high, low, high, low, it's happening in the similar rhythm. What happened here, like high, low, high, low, high, and we just like broke down. So that break, like Ethereum could be like right here right now, where it's going for a recovery but gonna flush out again. Recovery, flush out more. This lasted like some time, 140 days. I mean, if we look, the market has now been dropping been in a 98-day downturn here. 66% would be the worst pain, probably for Ethereum, the worst. And then after that, it would, like after that, if this holds, like Ethereum doesn't look like, if we're looking at like I'm talking only about Bitcoin and Ethereum, because I think that's number one and number two in terms, and obviously in terms of value, price. Once this bear phase is done, it could kick up into a whole new bull phase, right? depending where we end off at. Maybe we end off at like 1,800 at the lowest, or 2,000. $2,000 maybe. But there could still be some bleeding out. Like we're probably gonna see recovery. Because if you look at like if you look at this, they're pretty similar. They're pretty similar when you look at them actually. Like how the market is trading, like from the high, low, made a high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. And yeah, like this could still go down more, but it's looking very shaping up to be like how the market was in that phase. It's shaped like even the weekly. I can see it on the weekly. My eyes can see it just by looking at the weekly and kind of counting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or here, yeah, whoops. It's pretty much like in that spot where probably recovery, flush out more, cause more pain. Yeah, this went down 126 days, so we might still even have like some weeks left of going down in here. We probably even have maybe some weeks of potentially, well, it went down for like 140 days. I'm not saying it's gonna come to 2,000, but that's like okay, like price it could like 2,400, 2,600. We already hit like the 2,600s. Almost came to those middle 2,000s. The lower 2,000s could potentially get hit. We're already starting a bit of recovery this week. That might go to like 3,000 before it tries to flush out again. Worst case is that, like what I'm saying. Best case is like it kicks up strong again, but I think it would take more time to do that. Altcoins right now, like they're super low, and if I'd rather just stack Bitcoin and Ethereum personally. Like I think those are the best to stack. Altcoins, yes, they're super low. I have altcoins, but it's like I have some of them I have thousands of, and depending on the coin that it is, tens and thousands of them because of the price they're at. So if they perform, they'll go back up. I look at it like that for my altcoins. I'm more interested in stacking Bitcoin, Ethereum, even Solana or XRP. Altcoins right now that I like think are interesting is like Aster or Hype or Link. There was a lot of attention around ICP weeks ago, HBAR even. Some altcoins that I think are, it may be interesting right now, just from the top of my head. Aside, I said Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP. Those are like, I think the main ones I'd be like stacking right now. If those are like coins that you already believe in or that you already like include in your trading. Aster, Hype, Link, H bar. These are ones that I, aside from Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana. A lot of attention around ICP weeks ago. ICP had a crazy pump. That moved to like $10. Because like I'd rather add to the things that will move first or hold the most value. Because some alts are so low, it's like okay, I have a good. It's like some altcoins, like Polkadot for instance. That thing's so low, it's like, what's the chart doing? And I forgot to mention Xauusd. That was another one. Where's Polkadot at? Look at Polkadot. Like this. That's render. Whoops. Yeah, like a chart like this, I don't even want to add to. Like I hold this coin. I have thousands of it. That if it recovers and goes up, okay. I'm not worried about okay. I gotta catch a 10x on it and this. I'm trying to focus on where like the value's at. Because last thing I want is to add to an altcoin and it just dies out. And meanwhile, I could have just been adding to Bitcoin and Ethereum, XRP the whole time, or some of the more serious coins that are holding more value. Right now, try to look at coins that actually moved in the last year, performed. Like, okay, not everything went to what we wanted, but like, there's some things that still, like Ethereum still hadn't performed. It went to just below 5,000. So it's not like it's at its like super lows. Like I said, Chainlink, because Chainlink actually pumped like at some point this year. It was at $28. It's not like it stayed down here like a lot of coins are at their complete lows or completely disintegrated. Like some coins like Chainlink, for example, it's had some pumps in the last like years. Some good price moves up. So like I would look for coins that you can actually look at and see like okay, it actually went to a good price, like a decent price, and right now it's not at like super low. Like it's Chainlink is not at $4 right now. It's at 12. Right? It's not at 4 or 5, it's at 12. And it's been to like 30 this year, past year. There's a lot of coins we can't really look at like that are like, oh, most coins, like a lot of coins are just like completely at like the bottom of like their lows, like dying out, the lowest they've been, like, right? So I would if like there's a value to some things that you like try to consider like where things are actually at, where they've been. Like has some coins shown you a willingness to go back to some prices actually, like Chainlink for example. I can actually see like okay, if I catch it in the 12s, the 10s, the 9s, at least it's been to like 30. So if it goes back, okay, there's some value there. Versus maybe trying to, like, I'm looking at Polkadot right now, like, damn, yo, Polkadot's down low. Like, crazy. Last thing I would want to do is just keep adding to this and it just, like, dies out. I don't know what this thing's doing. Polkadot's wrecked. Like, a lot of charts are just, like Polkadot, like, getting wrecked. This is wrecked. Sui. So for me, like, right now, like, if it's accumulation, it's the things that, like, you know, I've had, for me, the most value in them, which is Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana. And then from there, it's like, okay, maybe chip some other Chainlink, H bar, Hype, Aster, a couple I just mentioned. Chainlink. Yeah, for some reason that one, not for some reason, but that one's always been one that I've liked. We'll be on tonight, yo. For those of you guys that are in the inner circle, pop in tonight's session. We will be live. No, there's one of my phones. We're gonna be live tonight. I'll see everybody on tonight's session. We'll see where gold's at tonight, yo. So yeah, I'm gonna be live in the inner circle. I'm gonna be live before that because I want to go in the market a little bit earlier. I'll drop the link in Discord probably an hour before that. I want to go on a bit earlier. But yo, I'll see everybody next session. Tap in, tap in, tap in this week. Oh no, I got XRP. I have XRP. I didn't sell all my XRP up here. I have a lot of XRP still. I have a lot of XRP. I think if you're XRP's moving today. Even CRO pumped this year because I think Trump has something to do with like crypto.com. Even CRO, what did that go to? Like, you know, like almost 40 cents. Well, the reason I say those coins is because they're the ones you don't want to buy later. I mean, at times, like, they're the ones where most people buy later, so they're usually the ones that have the most value. Especially for me as a crypto holder for years, like, been Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP. Kind of like a rotation of those. Sometimes one takes over, depending on the market. Like, when XRP was up here, XRP was, like, my highest holding for that in that moment. So I sold some. It's like moments like that. But more recently, when Bitcoin was here, it was like when Bitcoin was just where it's at. In October, it was like Bitcoin is different. Sometimes it's different, but those four, for me, have always been well. BNB, I never got BNB. I marked an area down here that's like, okay, what if it comes back here? Maybe that's an area I'd be interested in maybe starting some BNB, but I don't have BNB now. Can't believe I missed that. That's something I should have had because with all the years I had in trading, that's like above its previous like resistance here completely. But yeah, I'll see everybody tonight. Tap in tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed this session. Peace, peace, peace.